So I don't know if you all know Marieta. Marieta has been in education and training for as long as I can remember. A seasoned professional. She was a practitioner before, so it's not all theoretical knowledge that she has. She's been able to practically apply it. A very sought after facilitator and trainer. Marieta has done training for, I don't know, loads and loads and loads of companies, and at some of our bigger contracts, she was in great demand. So we would specifically ask for Marieta. And I don't know if it's because she kept her students focused by throwing things at them, or it was because of her subject matter expertise. I'm just kidding. So yeah, Marieta is a long-standing AEP with SAPICS, and we are very fortunate to have her on board to share the body of knowledge and keep growing the supply chain community and developing the skills. So, I can see everybody just joining in here. So I'm not going to take up the floor. I'm just going to stress the importance of certification, and please take on as much as you possibly can, because it is important not only for your personal growth, but for potential career growth and opportunities, career changes, things like that. So it's very important that you stay up to date and relevant with what's going on in the world of supply chain management. It's one of the fastest evolving and changing careers, and I think we're all very, very privileged to be part of it. So without further ado, welcome to all of you. I'm going to hand you over to the capable hands of Marieta, and enjoy the session, take notes, and if there's any questions, post them in the chat, or we can pick up questions at the end of the session. So enjoy, everybody, and thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot, Tonya, and the rest of the SAPICS team. Good afternoon to all of you, and thanks for joining this session on certification maintenance made easy. My name is Marieta Glas, as Tonya already stated. I'm an authorized education provider for SAPICS and APICS, as well as other institutions as well. Now, I would like to ask you, how difficult is certification maintenance according to you? I don't want to know the facts. I want to know only your perception. You can put it in the chat side. Do you think it's difficult, or do you think it's easy to do maintenance? Overwhelming, difficult. It is difficult. Any other comments there? Difficult overall. All right. Any one of you did maintenance before? That's also a question to you. I see there also, depending whether you've got enough money to pay for joint membership. Kia, you haven't done maintenance yet? First time? Right. So there's not somebody here that have done maintenance before. Now, the general perception of people regarding certification maintenance is that it is difficult. Right. And their perception is you have to rewrite the exams, you have to write books, you have to obtain a lot of marks and points. Now, the purpose of this webinar is to show you how easy certification maintenance is. And I would like you to participate. If there's a question, ask the question. I know Tonya said at the end of the session, but if you've got the question right now, ask it. I got the list with your names on it in advance, and I saw that there are 23 certifications in your group, and not one has expired or is inactive. It makes it a little bit easier. Right. Good. So my own experience is I completed my CPIM many years ago, and I was under the impression that the maintenance part was really rocket science, and I lost my certification. 3 years after expiry, I put a huge lot of effort in to get it reinstated. And after I got the hang of it, I realized that it's actually not all that difficult. Right. I'm going to share my screen here. Any questions from your side? No questions. Right. We are going to have a look at the following aspects. what is certification maintenance? Why should I maintain it? Then also, when does my certification expire? The notifications that you get from APICS on the deadlines, the cost of maintenance. What if I do not maintain my certification? How often and how many points are needed? Where do I start? That's the biggest point. And also, good old spreadsheet. Everything starts with a spreadsheet with all the data on it. Online maintenance application, and then also easy ways how to accumulate the points that are needed. Right. So what is certification maintenance? To keep your APICS certification valid, you must earn a number of professional development maintenance points every 5 years. Right. Now, why should I get it? Remember, it is expensive. Just looking in terms of today's cost, a CPIM, including your exams, will cost you around about 60,000 Rand. Well, CLTD will cost you 35,000 Rand. CSCP will cost you about 50K. Now, this includes only your material cost and the class cost. It doesn't include your traveling cost. A lot of people have to take the time off. Hours that you spend attending the classes, the hours that you spend studying. So that's all your cost that you've got involved. Right, so that's what you've paid already and the sacrifices that you've made. So at this stage, you can just maintain it. Not sure whether you know when does it expire. There you can log on to your own ASCM account. There's the link. This, I've used my link, so I can see on my ID that my CPIM, there I'm seeing it, is still active, and I need 75 maintenance points. There I've also got the expiry date. It's the end of March next year. And when you do your maintenance, this is where you apply for it. On the same screen, you just submit your maintenance application. I think they've got something like a month or 2 months or something like that. You cannot start with this process a month in advance. So that's why it's better for you to keep the spreadsheet updated. Right. Good. Now, if you would like to know, did your certification expire? But also not only yours, you can also check on someone else. Are they really certified? Right, you can check on prospective employees. Headhunters use this as well. That you log onto your ASCM account and by only putting in the surname of this person and the country, it will throw out all the information on, let's say, whatever your surname might be, Smith or De Pree, and you will get the information on there. Here you will see that this first one, the CPIM, is inactive. Right, so maintenance should have been done. You do not get an indication here of how long ago it should have been done already. And also on the CSCP, you can see that it is still active. Right. Now I just want to share some information for the records. I just put in the surname Smith. Right, so it gave me all the information, Smith and Smith, of all the people in South Africa that had any APICS certification. Now, if you have a look here, you will see that the status shows as inactive or active and so forth. Right. Of this total that I've drawn, there was 21. This is just the sample data that I've used. 11 was inactive and 10 was active. So this shows you that almost half of the people who certified lost their certification. Now here's a very clever lady, and this is one person who's got 5 certifications. If you just take her information out of this data, you will see that it leaves you with, in this group, 16 in total, of which only 5 would have been active, and that gives you a 30%. A number of years ago, we got the information from APICS. According to SAPICS, we don't really get that information anymore, but they showed how many people have certified in a country and how many is still active. And from that information, I've gathered that about 10% is maintaining these certifications. Now that's bad, because if there was 1,000 people in South Africa who got any certifications from APICS, only about 10% kept it. So that would be 100 of the 1,000. Right, and that is sad for all the information and all the time that you've put in and all the studies and hard work that you've put in. Are you okay? Questions? None. Right, now notifications, you do get that from ASCM or from APICS. They will tell you a year in advance that your certification expires a year from now. You've seen on that previous screen that I've showed you where the date is. Then you will get another notification about 90 days before the time, 60 days, and then 30 days prior to your maintenance deadlines. Now, if you did not get it, it means that your information might not be updated. You need to change your information on the APICS website, right? Because you are responsible for maintaining your own certification, the information, and regardless whether you got it or not, they just said, well, we send out the notifications to the addresses that we added. So that would be one of your first steps. Go to your contact details and make sure that your information are updated. Right, now what is the cost of maintenance? Someone mentioned, yeah, it's very expensive. Yes, it is. It's once in 5 years only. Right, there's different fee for a member versus non-member. Right, non-member is about $150 US, while if you look at your members, you pay $75. Now, $75 today is more or less 1,073 Rand. Right. Also, please note that this maintenance, you did not pay for maintenance, you paid for the application of maintenance. So this application fee is non-refundable and it's also non-transferable. So if it doesn't get accepted, you lose that money. So make sure that all the information that you are providing is correct and that you've got backup of that information. All right, and your member pricing will be determined by your member status at that time that you are applying for maintenance. Now, what happens if you do not maintain your certification? If you do not maintain your certification after 5 years, APICS will suspend it and you will no longer be permitted to use the designation on your business cards, your resume, LinkedIn, or anywhere else. I've had one of the students that said that they were showing it on LinkedIn and APICS actually contacted them and said, nope, you did not maintain, you can no longer use your designation as CPIM. Right. So they do have ways on checking that you should not claim it if you actually did not do your maintenance. Now, how often and how many points are needed? In your CPIM, CSCP, and CLTD, this is the list of people that are attending as well. You must earn a total of 75 professional development points. And every year that you go over that 5 years, you need to accumulate another 15 points. Now, to just give you an example, let's say you certified 2015. So every year you need to accumulate 15 marks. Up and until 2020, that would give you a total of this 75 marks. Right. Let's say you didn't maintain. You lost your designation, but in 2021, which is this year, you need to accumulate 75 plus 15 marks. Now, you've got time until 2025 to do your maintenance. Thereafter, you have to do your you have to actually redo your CPIM or your certification. There's no ways in which you can rectify it after this initial 5-year period plus the 5 years. Right, there's a question. Do we have to apply for maintenance before loading the maintenance points? No. When you apply for maintenance, you load your points as well. That's all one step that you are doing. Are you happy with that answer? by the time that you go onto the website and that you are loading all your information, you have to have all your information, you do your payment, it's all one step. Right. If you look at your fellow programs, not really relevant to any one of you, but that would be 100 points that you need to accumulate. Right. I would just like to know, is everyone okay with the 75 points in the 5-year period and the additional 5-year that you've got, that you need to get an additional 15 points each and every year? Are you happy with that, or do you have some questions regarding that? Because this is often where people do not get it. They say, oh, well, I did not maintain, I lost it, and so forth. Okay, Kia's happy, Sizwe is happy. I think everyone is happy then. Now, right, where do I start? Yep, your question, David? You could unmute if you want to.
Oh, great. Thanks, Marieta. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so on that 5 years and 5 years, do you need to contact them if you're within the second 5-year period, or do you just submit straight on with those additional 15 points per year?
You just submit, that's it.
Okay.
Right, with the additional 15 points. So that would be for a full year or part of that year. Right, so even if you missed your 5 years with 6 months, you will have to have an additional 15 points. Right, but you don't have to contact them. You just accumulate your points, you have your spreadsheet, you slot everything into the system, and that's it. All right. Good, so where do you start? You compile a spreadsheet. So I'll show you over the next few slides on what that spreadsheet would look like. So this is what your spreadsheet looks like. I really believe in keeping stuff simple and not overcomplicating stuff. Right. And I'll go through each of these columns. You can see it's not a lot of work. These my 7 columns that I've got. Now, in the first column, that would be your activity. Now, there's only 2 types of activity. You've got your education side and you've got your service side. Right. So most of you will probably accumulate points in your education and not on the service side, but it doesn't matter. Previous years, they made it complicated. There were subcategories and there were subcategories. So there were a number of categories that were used. Today, it's very simple. They just have education as well as service. Now, looking at your education side, points are earned for instructional hours, and you can also accumulate it in half hours for half a point. Now, examples that you've got here is university courses or even non-university training programs. Like, for instance, if you are doing the financial management for non-financial managers, right, you can claim that marks. Anything that's supply chain related. Okay, obviously you wouldn't claim if it's a pottery decoration or cupcakes or something like that, but if it's related to your to supply chain, you can claim those marks. Any workshops, plant tours, webinars, seminars, conferences, right, or review courses, all of that could be claimed. What I always believe in is I list everything. Then by the time that I submit it, I would actually, I would actually just say, right, I list everything, and then I go through and I sift through it and say, okay, I don't think this was really relevant, and I take it out. For instance, this session that you are attending today, you can claim 1 mark for it because it's for 1 hour. On my side, because I'm presenting it, I can claim 2 marks per hour. Right. There it shows you your points that you can actually claim. This one is quite interesting. Let's say you became a CPIM in 2015. Right. Now you've done your CSCP in 2017. So when you are doing your maintenance on your CPIM, you can claim 20 points for the exam in your CSCP, which you have passed. Also, using your online system or your certification learning system, as they call it, when you do your post-assessment, let's say you are ready to go and write your CSCP and you do your post-assessment, you get more than 80%. You actually get a certificate for it as well, and you can claim your 30 points there. Right. Any other APICS endorsement exams like your CSCA, you can actually claim 10 points per exam as well. APICS review courses, then also workshops and plant tours. Sorry, you can claim that 1 point per hour. So any of these tours or site visits that SAPICS is arranging, please participate in it, attend it. It really is interesting, and you can claim 1 point per hour. Normally it's 3 points for the 3 hours that you are attending. The SAPICS conference, once a year for 3 days, you can actually claim your 8 points per day, right? And any professional meetings, webinars, and so forth as well.
I've got a quick question. If you go back to your previous slide, so once I pass my CSCP exam, I'm gonna get my 20 points, my 30 points.
Correct.
All in this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that would be provided that you've done that test.
Yes,
right.
that test. Yeah, I'm aware of which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So if
and
you've done that one,
sorry, in terms of like the online webinars and seminars and all that stuff, how do we know, I mean, which one is points related, which one you can get points and whatnot?
If it's supply chain related, if SAPICS is presenting it, you claim for it. Amen. You put all of those in your claims and you claim it.
Okay.
All right. So any one of the ones that you attend with SAPICS or at your office, right, or any other institutions, you can claim for it. But that's what I say, rather just make sure that you write down, that you say, right, this was the course, Certified Supply Chain Analyst, this was the date, this was the year, and so forth. So just put all the details there. Let me just see, this was International Supply Chain Education, that I did one of their exams, right? And that's the marks that I've claimed. So it doesn't have to be SAPICS or APICS, but what's nice about SAPICS is their new system works. I don't know, I'm calling it a new system, but they are actually updating all the information regarding you. So if you've enrolled for a webinar, you can see it on your profile on the SAPICS website, right? All the courses that you've enrolled for, all the webinars that you've attended, the conference that you've attended. So all of that would be listed. So it makes it a little bit easier for you. Are you happy, Kia?
Happiness.
Great. Good. If this one, conducting instructional meetings or presentations, I had to, when I was still working at a company, every month, I had to have about a 2-hour session of feedback to the directors, and I claimed those marks. So it was 2 hours times 2 because I was presenting. So for every month, I could claim the 4 hour or the 4 points for those presentations that I made for them. Right. Unfortunately, you cannot claim the fact that you are working in a supply chain environment. That is not enough proof for them. It must be one of these that I've listed on here. Also, reading any relevant books, at least 200 pages, you get 5 points per book and half a point per article. Right. And project management, that's a new one that they brought in. So there's the different hours, and that's how many points you can claim for attending or being part of project management. Professional membership, someone mentioned, I can't remember who it was, that it really is expensive. No, it's not all that expensive. Right. It's 3,000 Rand or 3,500 Rand per annum. So per month, it's actually very low, the cost. And see what you get on membership. If you want me or SAPICS to forward you stuff on membership for what do you get for that contribution that you make every year, then I would send it to you, or SAPICS could send it to you as well. Right. And remember, it must be the membership that you get for the dual membership. Right, SAPICS/APICS, the joint membership, they call it as well. And you get 6 points per year for APICS and 2 points for SAPICS. Good, so that's the end of the education part. If you look at services, this would be points that you can claim for writing books or articles, APICS formal mentorship programs, volunteer works at APICS, and it's stipulated here. So if you write a book, 40 points per book, right? Or 5 points per article. Membership program, 2 points per year per mentee. Myself, I don't really get service points, but I do get a lot of education points. Is there any questions that you've got on regarding the points that you accumulate? I see there's a question, plant tours. Can we have a look at these questions afterwards? Yes. David, ask your question, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to know 4 things. I'm involved at the university as an external examiner. Would that be claimed as activity points?
Examiner.
Yeah, it's an external examiner. So I exam 5 students' papers. You have to review their final thesis and then attend the presentation and stuff like that. So it's just, I suppose, the time that you're putting into reviewing those.
Okay, but David, you know what? Let me rather come back to you on that question that you've got. I will get back to you after this session. Is that all right? Okay, I don't think you can, it just doesn't seem right because they want you to be actively involved. You're marking stuff, not sure. I'm not sure, but let me find out from them rather.
Yeah.
Peter, is that okay? Okay, I'll get back to you, David. Peter, you're asking about your LinkedIn learning segments. These specific questions, I will go back to APICS and ask them because they've got broad categories here. I haven't really, there's so many other ways in which you can actually earn marks. Right, do you need to attach the article that you've read? I don't think so. You can just put the article name in there and say in which book it was. Right. But if you see how easily you can you can accumulate your points, you will not be worried about, you know, can I get it for this article or that article, because I'll go through an example at the end of a practical simulation example. Good, now completing your spreadsheet. I think the one that is key here is please update it as soon as an activity has been completed. Do not rely on your memory because you certainly do forget about these things. Also make sure that you fill in all the fields, because if you have to go back to your spreadsheet after a year or 2 or 3, you just kind of forget it and you take it out. Then keep a file, hard or electronic copies with evidence of activities in case APICS does an audit. Now, the minute you submit it to them, they will say, right, there's an audit. I've got a few audits previously, I don't know why. And then I had to have proof. Now, it's easy for me to just attach the SAPICS website to say, this is my profile, these are the ones that I've attended there, my training hours I also claim for. Some of it's a little bit more difficult to claim for, but others are quite easy to for the audit to show, you know, to have the proof. Then also, if you have more than one certification, you could use the same points on all your maintenance applications. So let's say after you've done your CPIM in 2015 and your CSCP in 2017. And in 2020, you can actually claim for a conference that you attended. And you can claim for that same conference when you do your maintenance on your CSCP. Right. Now, this is just the example.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So you have to apply for maintenance for both certifications or one, and then it
Each one on its own.
so each one will have its own spreadsheet
100%.
and points, because that's like technically duplicating.
No, sorry, I think I misunderstood your question. Your question is, do you have to have a separate spreadsheet for both?
Yeah, as in when you apply for your maintenance now, are you going to apply for maintenance on your CPIM separately and then your CSCP separately, or you just apply for one maintenance on both?
No, you apply. My maintenance for my CPIM expires next year. So I'm going to have my spreadsheet. I'm going to look at the points that I've accumulated, and I'm going to do maintenance on my CPIM. All right. And then 2 or 3 years later, I'm going to do my maintenance on my CSCP, and I'm going to use exactly the same spreadsheet with exactly the same information on it.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you don't mind, can we have a look at your question and some of the questions more specifically after I've showed you the spreadsheet? Maybe it will answer some of your questions then. Is it okay?
Perfectly fine, thank you.
Good. Now, completing the spreadsheet, as I said, the first column, put your activity in it. There it is. The second to the fourth one would be regarding to the same activity. Let's say this was the spring conference that I attended, and it was the service provider was SAPICS, and the date was the 10th of September 2019. Right. So this is all pertaining to that specific activity. I also have a separate column for the year, and that is just so that I can put my filters on, because I don't want to delete stuff from my spreadsheet. So I just use filters. Right. Remember, this is my spreadsheet. This works for me. If you got some additional information, well done. But even through the audits, I had enough information on this to show it to them. Then looking at your column 6, that would be the duration. Now, remember, you're working with different unit of measures. The one could be hours. There could be one exam. It could be training days that you've been in. So I put the duration there, and then I convert it to the maintenance point. So 9 hours equals 9 points. If it was one exam, it would have been 10 points. Or training hours taken would be 1 hour per 1 point per hour. That would be 8 points. Or if I were training for a day, I can actually claim the 2 points. Right, now after you've got your whole spreadsheet ready, you go to your online maintenance application. You log on to your ASCM account. Remember where I showed you where it shows you when it actually expires? You just push that button. Make sure you know the number of points that you accumulated over the 2 activity categories. You need to read and agree on the APICS Code of Ethics. Confirm your billing information. I pay with a credit card. It just makes it easier because it takes into consideration the rate of exchange. Select your payment type and submit it. It really is easy. Once you've gone onto this site, you just put in the points and amen. You don't have to do a huge lot of copy and paste. Previously, there were sheets that you had to attach and proof that you had to attach, but they've made it really easy these days. All right, now this is just a little bit of a practical simulation example. Few easy ways on how you can accumulate your points. And that would be, let's say you are a member, joint membership every year for a 5-year period. Then that would give you 6 points for APICS membership and 2 points for SAPICS membership. So in total, you can actually claim 8 points per year. Let us say you only attended one conference where you could accumulate 24 points. Right. Then one site visit per annum, that would be 3 hours, and which gave you 3 points per site visit. A webinar, this is now the one for the year that you are attending, 1 point. And also attending a 2-day workshop per year, which will give you 16 points per year. And you read one book of at least 200 pages, which gives you the 5 points. Right. Now, if I translate this into points, you will see there's my activities. All of them were in education. This is who the service provider was, the date. Then for all of them, I've translated that to 5 years. I multiplied it with 5, except the conference. I've only attended one conference in this 5-year period. And can you see you've got a total points already of 189, and you only needed 75 points. So, stuff like you were marking exams, or you read this article. It's good to know about all that stuff, but you're going to, you've got enough points. Right, and you will be able to have enough points by just doing a few of these stuff during a year and keeping record of it. Good, that's the end of it. I'm not sure whether whether you've got a little bit more clarity on how easy your maintenance actually is. Any other questions that you've got? I can share with you my spreadsheet that I'm using. So this is my current one. Just hold on.
While you're sharing, Marieta, where on the ASCM website can we find the breakdown of points?
I can send that to you as well. Right.
Okay.
Have I got your email addresses on here? No. I will, if you want to, you can request it from me and I will send it to you. Or otherwise I can send you the link as well.
Yeah,
right, because they've got it very nicely.
Okay.
Good. Now this is my one. All the conferences, I just kind of group it. All the conferences that I've attended, and I'll say the 2010, 11, 12. Then the courses that I've attended, all the different years, meetings that I've attended, site visits, professional breakfasts. Where did that go to, Tonya? Then also webinars that I've attended and membership that I've got for SAPICS as well as APICS. Right. And then my training hours. Okay, obviously that makes it nice. Now let's say I have to do maintenance next year. So what I would do is I just use the filters and I say, right, so I want to see for the last 5 years, and there I've got it. That these are the stuff that I've attended or done. That was my activities, and there is my maintenance points that I can actually claim. All right, so in total I've got how many maintenance points? Okay, 3,300 points. So can you see?
Sharing is caring. Can I teach one class, please?
you could, claim for mentorship again. Right. So can you see it's actually so easy to get those points? I know you're going to say, oh, this is my job and this is what I do all the time. Yes, but the minute you know how to claim your points, it makes it just so much easier. Can you carry over points achieved within the 5-year period if you did not claim it yet? Remember, you have to do maintenance. Let's say you got your certification in 2015. So that would be for 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Right. How did you not claim them yet? Clyde?
Actually, the question is, so for instance, if you haven't claimed any maintenance points in the last 5 years,
Yeah,
and now you need to do maintenance,
yeah.
but so when you claim that 3,000 points, how long will your certification then be valid if you claim 3,000 points?
Another 5. No, no carryovers. No carryovers. Remember, because if I've now done my maintenance up and until from 2017 to 2021. Next year, I start all over again, 2022. All right. So marks that I've already, this is about years. Right, so you can use it the 5-year period. If you've done it in 2015, anything that you accumulate up and until 2020 would be valid. Then the next period would be that you have to do maintenance in 2025. Remember, you've used all your marks in 2020 already. So you start with 2021, 22, and so forth. Yes, you can claim marks for board member. It was on the presentation, but I'll send you the points as well. That I think you can claim 1 mark per annum or 2 marks per annum. That you are actually able to claim for being a board member of SAPICS or APICS, or if you are doing work for APICS, right? Voluntarily work for APICS, that you help with the development of the material or checking the material, then you can actually claim marks for that as well. Remember, the whole idea of maintenance is they want you to be actively involved, not only just be in supply chain. What did you do extra besides being in supply chain? You went on a site visit. You were tutoring. You know, there's stuff that you do besides the normal supply chain work.
I've got
Any
a
other
question.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say within, okay, so you do your certification in 2015, 2020, you have to submit your maintenance, right?
Correct.
But let's say now by 2017, you've got over 100 points and you choose, and are you able to submit then? Or should you rather wait until 2020 and submit? Or what what happens in that instance?
I would wait because it's expensive. Remember, you pay for every maintenance that you do. And it's about
but now if let's say within 2 years of getting your certification, you've got enough points, so then you put in your maintenance, does that then remain valid for 3 + 5 years?
How the 3 + 5? Oh,
remember, if you get your certification in 2015, right? You need to maintain in 2020.
Yes.
And then in 2020, when you maintain, it covers you for the next 5 years, correct?
Correct.
So then the next maintenance will only be in 2025, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But let's say by 2017, you've got enough points to maintain your 2020. Does that mean now, do you get where I'm coming from? The 3 years plus the 5, you only have to maintain in 2025.
What
or
is
you
that
would
one?
Have to maintain in like 2022 or something.
Okay.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yes. I would not. Even if I'm going to lie in bed for the next 3 years. No.
Okay.
Then wait out that 3-year period, do your maintenance, and then be good for the next 5 years. What is that one TV program that was, as soon as you earned money, you had to bank it. And if you didn't bank it, you lost it.
Yes.
This is not like that. Surf out your 5 years. Do your maintenance when it's needed. Now put a reminder on your calendar to say, right, I have to do my maintenance. They in any case send you a notification that please you have to do your maintenance. So rather do it in the time that you should be doing it. Otherwise, you have to accumulate points for another. I would not do it. I haven't done it that way. I wait until the last minute and I do.
Okay.
I do my maintenance. I put in my marks like this, and none of these marks are carried over for this specific certification because I start with a new fresh 5 years again.
All right. Awesome.
Does it answer your question, madam?
Yeah.
Happy. All right. Any other questions that you've got? No more questions? All right. Then thank you very much for attending this session. I hope that it clarified some of the questions that you might have had. Please, you can contact me. You can also contact SAPICS and ask them for my details. On the screen, you should be, you can see my details. So please contact me should you need additional information. But I will send you the points. I'm not sure if SAPICS has got your email addresses, and I will send you all of that details. All right. Okay. Have a great day further on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks
Keep well.
so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Bye-bye.